Nomawethu, good morning to you. Talk to us about the situation where you are now.
Well, a very good morning to you, Balisa. Indeed, this morning we are at Nyanga Junction, the train station side, and it's very different pictures from what we've seen when we were visiting the different or various taxi ranks around the Cape Metropole. It's almost deserted, Balisa. There are only a few commuters that have arrived here this morning, which in itself is very telling, Balisa. You'll remember that we've been speaking to a number of commuters at the various taxi ranks, and they've been saying that they don't have much faith in trains around the Cape Metro because they've been marred by a number of delays, cable theft, and they'd rather pay more money and use taxis just to ensure that they get to work on time. I'm just going to speak to some of the commuters that are here this morning just to get a sense of their views of what they've seen in the last couple of months, even because they say that this has been the case for a very long time when it comes to train commuters. Now, Palisa, I must say that they don't want their faces to be shown on TV, and this is something that we have to respect, but at the same time, we do want to hear their views. Mama, you spoke to me a little bit earlier, and you spoke to me how you are struggling as train commuters at the station. Tell us more about this.
We are struggling. We buy a ticket every month, every month. When we finish to buy a ticket, they'd say we must see how are we going to work because there's no train. But they took the money already. They don't give us the money back. And then if we want to take a train, you must take a train and go to Mitchell's Plain so that you must get a way to go to work. Otherwise, you can't go inside the train. The train, when it's coming, is full. And you must, if you're forced to go in, you forced, and then you'll stand till that work. And then when you come at work, it's 2 to 9 or to 10. But you're supposed to start 7 o'clock. We are suffering, and there's, inside the train, there's no safety, no police. If they want to rob us, they rob us.
Ma'am, have you seen a difference in the number of people that have started using the train since the buses started striking?
It's not now. It's old. It's long time we're suffering about the train. It's not a bus. It's not a bus.
And what
long time it's like this.
And what changes do you hope to see, ma'am, as a train commuter and someone who has no other option but to use the train?
They take a taxi because there's no other option, and because we want to go to work, we have to go to taxi to go and pay another money on top of that ticket.
But you've decided not to take a taxi. Here you stand, ma'am. You've been standing here for over an hour.
I haven't got money. I haven't got enough money. This money I must take a taxi again in Maitland. So I keep it for that taxi because I take a train and a taxi. When I take a taxi and then again a taxi, I'll get a shortage.
If you can just tell us, ma'am, where you're traveling to and what do you do for a living?
I'm traveling Maitland, Nyanga to Maitland, and then Maitland I take a taxi to Brooklyn.
And what do you do for a living, ma'am?
To live? What is that living?
What is your kind of work?
I'm a general assistant.
Thank you very much for your time, ma'am. Thank you so much. Well, that was one of the commuters here at Nyanga Junction who's been waiting for the past hour, Balisa, and she was just telling us about the things, the challenges that they face as train commuters. And she's saying that it hasn't started now because there's a bus strike. As train commuters, these are challenges that they see all the time. She's been standing here for the past hour and she's likely to get to work only at around 9 o'clock. She says she simply does not have the money to get onto a taxi. So this is her life. She has to wait until a train comes, and when it does come, it's probably full. And if not, she'll get onto the train. She'll start in Khayelitsha and to other areas before making her way to Maitland. So it's very telling, Balisa, even though we don't see queues here this morning, people are just struggling in terms of transport. We've been going to various taxi ranks, but this morning we decided to come to the train station. almost deserted, Balisa, but people will rather use trains because they simply cannot afford taxis. So we'll go to the Bellville train station a little bit later on just to see how things are looking that side. But for now, it's back to you in the studio, Balisa.
It's a very sad reality, Nomawethu. Thank you so much for coming through. That's what commuters have to go through on a daily basis, not just as a result of the ongoing bus driver strike, but of course, as she said, that's what they have to go through on a daily basis using trains in the Western Cape. All right, that's the end of your 6:30 news headlines.